So good morning everyone and welcome to today's video. As you can probably guess from the title of this video, fucking hell. Today, for fuck's sake, I've sat here, I've intended to be at the gym fucking 15 minutes ago, but I'm sat here trying to get the fucking first clip right. As you probably guessed from the title of this video, today is my first day of a mini cut. So I'm not sure if it's going to be 30 days or 6 weeks. I'm probably going to call it a 30-day mini cut because I'm noticeably not as fat as I would have been when I've pursued a cut before. But the reason that I want to lean up is because number one, you'll take me more seriously on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and number two, I'm just at a point with my natural physique progression where I already look like a Greek god. I already have the strength of Hercules. So for me to pursue more than that would be nothing other than selfish. So instead I want to change my focus towards becoming just a lean, fit machine as opposed to just, you know, a fucking fat meathead 9 months of the year. So I'm going to take you through everything that I will do on a typical cut, from calorie tracking, from the food shop that I'll do later, to my general practices and philosophies when it does come to cutting. I'm not going to be doing anything that I don't recommend to my clients, so you know that everything that I'm doing is what you could expect on a fat loss phase with me. I arrived to the gym 5 minutes before closing last night. They so kindly allowed me to get an all-out drop set done on the hack squat, an all-out drop set done on the seated leg curl, but for a man with the legs the size of mine, it just simply wasn't enough. So I have to go back in, finish them off. Let's get to the gym. Let's get this done. It doesn't matter how late I might be running. I am never leaving this drive without getting the right music on. So I just wanted to talk you through a couple of tips and tricks that I think about when I'm performing my leg press. So the first thing you'll notice is that my range of motion is quite fucking impressive. And the reason that I do this is because muscles only grow stronger throughout ranges of motion to which they're exposed. So this means that if the ego is getting the better of you, you're loading on so much weight and doing partial repetitions to impress people who don't even know you fucking exist. You're leaving gains on the table. You'll also notice that my feet are placed quite low on the platform, and this is done to emphasize my quads. Now for most people, you won't have the mobility to be able to do that while also keeping your heels flush with the platform. So what you can do is do independent hip and ankle mobility exercises outside of your leg day, but you can also try progressively overloading your mobility by starting off with your feet a little bit higher on the platform and then week by week ever so slightly inching them down the platform. Now there is one thing to look out for when performing leg press with a large range of motion, and that is to ensure that your arse doesn't start curling up off the bench. So lower your knees to the point where that doesn't happen to help protect against experiencing any pain or discomfort in the lower back. So if I could only do one hamstring exercise for the rest of my life, it would easily be the seated leg curl. Now there's a couple of things that I have to think about when performing this exercise. Number one is setting the foot pad at the top to the point where I can get the most amount of stretch on my hamstrings. My knees aren't quite hyperextending, but they're pretty close to lockout. The second thing is controlling the eccentric. So I'm taking anywhere between 2 to 4 seconds to lower the weight from where my heels are underneath my butt to when my legs are fully extended in front of me. The third thing is that I imagine wearing a seatbelt around my hips. So what this does is encourage my hips to stay down and planted into the seat. You'll see a lot of people when the weight gets too heavy that their hips start to pop up. And finally, when I hit technical failure, generally in the last set, which essentially means I can't maintain the same form I had prior, I lean forward in the seat just to pump out a few extra, albeit lower quality repetitions. So I'm not even gonna lie, but leg extensions have been my Achilles heel for the last I don't know how long. Because as someone who's able to fucking leg extension every full stack that he uses, I'm just not sure that I'm actually at failure by the end of each set. And anyone who's ever done a set of 20 to 30 fucking leg extensions knows exactly what I mean. Did you actually reach failure, or was it just so uncomfortable, so boring and so painful that you ended up just saying fuck this and stopping the set? I literally just go until I physically cannot contract my quad anymore. And if I feel like I'm being a little bit of a bitch, I'll just stop the set, take 2 seconds, and then go again to pump out as many extra reps that I can muster the strength to do. So a lot of people say that they don't have a standing calf raise machine in their gym. My friend, if you have a leg press or a Smith machine, you have a standing calf raise. So in order to optimally target the calves, you need to do one standing calf raise variation and one seated calf raise variation. Now I'm not going to get into the technicalities of it because number one, I don't know, and number two, I don't care. Right, so that's the gym session over and done with. I was going to head straight to Aldi to do my food shop, but I have to, sorry, is there fucking something on the lens? Piece of fur. Go home first for a meeting with my business account manager. Just got back to realise that my meeting is cancelled, so my sister's here now, so we're going to head to Aldi straight away and pick up a few things. So I just realised I picked a very bad week to start the cut because my mate Marvel's coming over at the weekend and we're going to be getting pissed. That could be a challenge. You know what?
Yeah, I'm going to cut it out. So, starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow's fucking Tuesday. Fiona suggested coming to the Aldi in Killaloe. I didn't actually know that there was one, but the other one is in Raybogue and it's right beside where all the students live, so it gets cleaned out on a Monday morning. They say to never shop on an empty stomach. I should probably take my own advice. skin is responding quite badly to dairy, or so I think, so I'm gonna have to limit my dairy consumption, which also means I can't have any of these fucking yogurts, so I'm gonna have to put them back too. I honestly have an adrenaline rush from that checkout. You know that, like, obviously they're told to be as quick as they can to get customers in and out of the shop. They get some fucking rush out of just throwing stuff at you.
There's so little space for the food to go. Like, they scan something through and they're fucking it on the ground maybe.
It's worse when you're on your own. I remember doing it in fucking Portugal, like, and I hadn't a note how to pack items and stuff. I had fucking eggs on the bottom. I was in Marbella with Tony and Sean. I was actually the one who was king packer. Tony and fucking Sean just threw anything in on top, getting all the fucking fruit and veg squash. So, Anacotti Farm Shop or Limerick Frozen Foods, 10 fillets for $11.50. Got a bag of frozen strawberries there as well for any smoothies you might be making. So this is everything that I got inside an Aldi there today. Now bear in mind, we were shopping for the two of us. So first we have obviously some eggs. They're a staple protein source, usually my go-to breakfast in the morning with bacon medallions. So then we have bagel tins, which are pretty much a staple carb source. Again, half the calories of regular bagels. These chicken pieces are very, very handy for like lunches. Just throw them into a bagel. Very, very quick, convenient protein hit. As are these Skyr yogurts. These protein puddings. Now I am trying to limit my dairy consumption. Feel as though it's causing my skin to break out, so I might have to limit myself to like one of these a day. Got the flavored rice. Now they're slightly higher in calorie than the regular rice, but the reason that I got them is because I just prefer the taste of them. They make the meals much nicer. Again, one of the best carb sources that you can probably use, baby potatoes. So they're very, very filling, probably more filling than rice or pasta would be. Strawberries, apples, banana. So for veg, we have peppers, we have leeks, carrots, and red onion is actually probably my favorite veg. Some cordial, squash, mineral, whatever you want to call it. Usually I would buy like a fucking 20 pack of Coke Zero or Fanta, but I want to incentivize myself to drink more water, because I think when you can get a lot of your fluid consumption from like Monsters and Coke Zeros, Pepsi Maxes, that you can actually forget to drink water throughout the rest of the day. So hopefully having like squash will make it easier and will make me prioritize drinking water a little bit more. We also have turkey burgers. So again, along with like eggs and bacon medallions, my phone just dropped. They tend to be like a staple sort of breakfast, if not a lunch meal. Greek yogurt, possibly the single most underrated dieting food of all time. Very low in calorie, high in protein, very, very satiating. Pieces of ham, turkey sausages. Chicken is going to be my main protein source. I generally prefer white meat to red meat. Now I know red meat can be somewhat more nutritious, but I just generally, my stomach doesn't respond too well to lots of red meat. €101 essentially for the Aldi shop. That's not including the chicken fillets and the frozen strawberries. Let me just do the maths here. 101 plus 11.50 plus 11.50 plus 4.80. All in all, it was about 130 quid, 128.29. Wasn't trying to be like cost effective, so I wasn't really paying a whole pile of attention to what was the cheapest options there. If I did, I reckon I could have got a similar shop for a little bit less than that. That's for like 2 people for a week. When I was living in Lisbon on Erasmus, I used to be able to do like a weekly shop in Aldi for like even 30, max 40 quid, like 60 quid, 70 quid would generally do me for 2 weeks. So obviously inflation and all that makes such a difference having like a food shop done in advance, because you're just going to be far more likely to actually adhere to your calories. If you're just winging it, if you're not doing a food shop, if you're not preparing any meals in advance, you're going to struggle. Going to shower, going to come back down, make my first meal of the day. Don't know what I'll have yet. We shall see. Fucking hell, this lens, man. So this is meal number 1. 2 slim bagels, 2 turkey burgers, and 1 slice of cheese between the two, washed down with a Robinson squash. I'm going to put the calories and protein on the screen here. Roughly about 50 grams of protein and 700 and something calories. This is exactly why I don't trust people who say that they can't cook. But if you can't put 2 turkey burgers in an air fryer and toast 2 fucking slim bagels, my friend, you have bigger issues to address. I don't think that's good. Right, so now it's time for meal number 2. What I'm gonna have is chicken breasts. They're already cut up and diced. Just gonna cook them and put them in 2 wraps. So Got some teriyaki marinade sauce. 100 calories per 100 milliliters. Like I haven't a clue what I just put in there. What I'm gonna do is just overestimate it. Say I put in 200 milliliters. I assume I didn't, but better to overestimate than to underestimate. And that's the thing. If you're not tracking your sauces, you're not tracking your oils, man. You could be fucking consuming an extra couple of 100 calories without even knowing it. That made what is probably going to be like a 500-600 calorie meal into something that's like a 700 or an 800 calorie meal. So here's the disclaimer. I'm not a chef. I've never pretended to be a chef. I'm not one of those PTs who just puts up a fucking random recipe that they robbed from someone else and it gets hundreds of thousands of views from people saving it who will never fucking cook it. So please don't follow along with any of the recipes that I use because you'll probably end up getting salmonella. I'm not even sure if the marinade was meant to go in. So the chicken here is nearly done. I prefer to have my chicken medium rare. So it turns out there was only one wrap left. So for this meal, this is meal number 2. I'm going to put the calories on the screen. It says somewhere around 70 grams of protein, but to be honest, I'm really skeptical. There was like 200 grams of raw chicken. I'm going to have to double check what the protein is on that. This leaves me with about 1500 calories for the day. It's now about 5 p.m. so I have a little bit of catching up to do. So I've just sent out a banger of an email. So it's called Comfort Breeds in Action. If you're not on my email list, I'm going to leave it in the description of this video, so make sure that you sign up. So I know you're wondering why I'm wearing a roadman's jacket inside of my sister's eyelash room. Haven't gone for my walk yet. It's still pissing out the heavens. I'm gonna have to do some content for Instagram and TikTok before I get my walk in, so I'll probably be out walking at 10 p.m. and getting to bed at fucking 12. Here is meal number 3. 300 grams of Greek or Icelandic yogurt. We have a banana, we have about 50 grams of blueberries and about 90 grams of strawberries. As always, going to put the calories on the screen here and the macros. So I think it works out about 35 or so grams of protein. Still leaves me with like 1200 calories to finish off after this. So it looks like I'm going to be up all night with about fucking 1200 calories done. So, Wagwan my G. Right, so I'm just back from my walk, you can see there. So 8,000 steps is usually the minimum that I'll start with any fat loss or indeed muscle gaining client. For now, I'm happy to just keep it at the 8, but as the weeks go by, I'm gonna up that to 10. As well as that, I've gone with my final meal. Now, I am gonna end up quite a good bit below my calories for today, but that's all right because I'm genuinely not hungry. So the final meal is going to be another slim bagel with 100 grams of pre-packaged chicken on top, 2 slices of ham, an apple because my fiber intake was quite low today, and I'm going to chance one of these Skyr yogurts. I'm going to finish this and then I'm going to head off to bed. Not sure if I'm going to take you through an upper body workout in the morning. If I do, well then you'll know. If you're someone who's got bad genetics, you need to listen to this video. So something I've noticed is that there's a huge difference in between my engagement with Instagram and my engagement with TikTok. So for those of you who watch my vlogs, are you here from YouTube, or are you here from Instagram, or are you here from TikTok? I'd like to get a general consensus in the comments. Anyone who's ever come up to me has always said the TikTok guy. I never get anyone say you're the fella from Instagram. I'm actually curious to see, is TikTok the bigger platform? Because in terms of engagement, man, it's way stronger than fucking Instagram. Right, so my total for the day is just over 2,000 calories, 200 grams of protein, exactly within that. So as long as my protein is hit and as long as I'm satiated, so long as I'm not fucking starving, I'm happy enough, and I'm happy enough to bank those calories away for another day. Right, so it is the next day and I said I wanted to take you through an upper body session. Oh fuck, road's flooded.
You're fine, it's not that deep, like.
Right, in any case, so those of you who've been following me for a while might have known that I used to train in a really good gym called Munster Pro, but over the last like year and a half I've been training in a gym in Limerick and Raheen called The Bodybuilding. In my opinion, both are really good gyms, but Munster Pro is technically the best gym in Clare. the bodybuilding probably the best gym in Limerick, but both are really, really good equipment. So I'm just going back to try a session in here today to see what it's like and see if I want to change back, because the bodybuilding these days is getting very, very busy, especially in the evening time. It's just fucking thronged. It's like a cattle mart. You're barely able to kind of get on the equipment that you want if you go any later than 4 or 5 o'clock. So I'm just going to see what Monster Pro is like. If it's any good, I might even just get a membership back there for another month or two and see what the crack is. Oh, Shan!
See you later, losers.
That's the upper body workout over and done with. First time back in Monster Pro in I'd say about a year and a half. Still undecided about whether I'm going to go with the bodybuilding Monster Pro. That's going to be the end of today's video. So as always, thank you very, very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy the video, I'd much appreciate if you dropped it a like. I'd even more appreciate it if you would drop it a subscribe. And I'd appreciate it even more if you tune in to the next one.